April 12, 1861. The first gunshots echo across Fort Sumter. The United States is at war with itself. For 4 brutal years, the country would be torn apart. Families divided, cities burned, over 600,000 lives lost. But why did this war happen? What was truly at stake? And how did it change America forever? To understand the Civil War, we have to go back decades. The United States was expanding westward, and with every new state, one question caused bitter debate. Would slavery spread? The North, growing more industrial, wanted to stop the spread of slavery. The South, whose economy depended on enslaved labor, saw this as a threat to their way of life. Tensions escalated with the Missouri Compromise, the Kansas-Nebraska Act, and violent clashes like Bleeding Kansas. Then came the breaking point, Abraham Lincoln's election in 1860. He opposed the expansion of slavery, and the South saw this as a direct threat. One by one, Southern states seceded, forming the Confederate States of America, with Jefferson Davis as their president. Lincoln had a choice: let the Union dissolve or fight to save it. April 12, 1861. Confederate forces fire on Fort Sumter in South Carolina. The Civil War has begun. Lincoln calls for 75,000 troops. Both sides believe it will be a short war. They were wrong. The first major battle, Bull Run, was a disaster for the Union. Civilians came to watch, expecting an easy victory. Instead, they fled in terror as Confederate forces overwhelmed the North's inexperienced troops. The war spreads fast. Shiloh, Antietam, Fredericksburg, hundreds of thousands are killed. At Antietam in 1862, over 23,000 soldiers were killed or wounded in a single day, the bloodiest day in American history. Medicine was primitive. Disease killed more soldiers than bullets. Amputation was often the only treatment for wounds. But this war wasn't just about preserving the Union, it was about freedom. In 1863, Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, declaring enslaved people in Confederate states free. Over 180,000 black men joined the Union Army, proving their courage in battles like Fort Wagner and Petersburg. Meanwhile, abolitionists like Harriet Tubman risked their lives helping enslaved people escape to the North. July 1863, Gettysburg, the largest battle of the Civil War. Confederate General Robert E. Lee launched an invasion of the North, but Union forces held their ground. Afterward, Lincoln delivered one of the most famous speeches in history, the Gettysburg Address. He reminded the nation that this war was about more than just territory, it was about liberty and equality. The tide had turned. General Ulysses S. Grant took command of the Union Army. Meanwhile, General Sherman led his infamous March to the Sea, burning Confederate cities, crushing their economy. The South was running out of men, food, and supplies. Surrender was near. April 9, 1865. General Lee meets General Grant at Appomattox Courthouse. The war is over. The Union is saved. After 4 years, over 600,000 deaths, and entire cities reduced to ashes, the nation could begin to heal. But victory came with a heavy cost. Just 5 days after the war ended, Abraham Lincoln was assassinated by John Wilkes Booth. The man who had fought to unite the nation was gone, but his dream lived on. By December 1865, the 13th Amendment was passed, officially abolishing slavery in the United States. The Civil War reshaped America forever. It ended slavery, strengthened the federal government, and set the stage for the long fight for civil rights. And today, we remember those who fought, those who sacrificed, and those who stood for justice, because history isn't just about the past, it shapes our future. This was the American Civil War, a war that tested the nation, a war that must never be forgotten. Like and subscribe for more history.